and welcome to your yoga practice. I'm Phoenix Wilson. In today's class, I'll be sharing with you yoga stretches and poses you can do while using a chair. And this is really to expand upon a practice that I shared about a week ago where I introduced 5 yoga stretches you could do using a chair. So today I will be introducing some new poses and stretches as we move through our practice. This is a really good practice to follow if you're wanting to learn some adaptations and modifications, if you have difficulty putting weight of your knees or body to the floor. And also, it's just a great practice if we've been spending many hours sitting at a chair. I know I have. And you can just incorporate 1 or 2 of these stretches throughout your week, throughout the day. And I think if you use these practices regularly, you'll notice that you feel a little more supple and flexible throughout the week. All right, so with all that being said, remember, of course, that your body's your best teacher and guide. So by that I mean if you're feeling some pain or discomfort, that's your body's signal to you to ease off. We can adjust and modify, and you don't necessarily have to do every single pose that I'll be introducing here. If you've been in a yoga class with me or just in general before, you're already probably familiar with many of these poses, but you'll learn how you can use a chair, or if you had a desk, you could use that surface to do these stretches, which is nice because sometimes we don't always feel like rolling out our mat and doing a whole yoga sequence. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with our first pose here, which is just box pose. And box pose is a nice adaptation to downward facing dog, where we usually have our wrist and shoulder weighted to the floor, but here we're just going to let our hands touch into the chair, it could be the desk, whatever we had, and stretch our feet back so our feet are resting under the hip, and we're going to create length through the spine. Imagine that there's greater space between each vertebrae. And we're just going to pause here, taking a few nice deep breaths in and out. We might even just kind of shift through the hips side to side. And we're going to pause here. So if this feels too much of a stretch in the hamstrings or back, we'll bend the knees. That's certainly fine. We're going to take another inhale and exhale. So I'm going to lead with my right leg, and I'll bring it up to the chair. It could also maybe be, say, a kitchen counter, something where we don't want the surface to slide away from us. It's very stable to the mat or whatever we're working with. Make sure your feet are about hip width apart so you're not going to feel wobbly. We're going to have our hips squared forward right towards the chair. Take a breath in and lift up to Warrior One. So in Warrior One, we're going to let our forward leg sink a little bit towards the floor, but our back leg lifts up away from the mat. We'll take a breath in, hinge at the hip for a moment. We're just going to start to fold forward part way, and then inhale, rise up. Good. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, rise. Last time we're going to fold forward, hold here. We could also be using the chair if we needed it. And we'll circle backward through the arms, like we're kind of swimming in space, bringing a little warmth into the shoulders. Let's stretch forward and hold. We'll take a breath in for 3, 2, 1. Bring our hands to the chair, and then reach back again to our box pose. Lengthen all the way back through the hip. Long length through the spine. On the next breath in, go ahead and just step the foot forward. So again, it's like a lunge. So if you're doing a yoga practice and the lunge feels like it's too low to touch into the floor, just elevate with a chair. Let's go ahead, breathe in, and again, we're rising tall, Warrior One. Be mindful of your alignment, so your feet again are hip width apart, roughly, and our hips are squared forward. Take a nice breath in. If it's comfortable, you might even just take a little gaze upward. Open the chest to the sky. Extend forward. Rise skyward. Exhale, reach forward. 2 more, breath in. Exhale. Let's do 1 more. And then come back again, forward partway, hover over the leg, and move through the shoulders. We'll take a breath in, reach through the arms, hands back to the chair, box pose, creating length through the back of the legs. Let's again take a nice inhale and easy exhale. And we're going to do the same thing. So now again, I'm bringing my right foot forward, alternating to the other side again, to this lunge with the support of the chair. And I'm going to roll back through the hip, lengthening into the hamstring. And for a moment, let's just be a little bit more dynamic rather than static with our pose. We'll bend the knee, roll back through the hip, bend the knee. When we're rolling back through the hip, we feel that stretch in the hamstring, obviously, right? Unless we're already really open in the hamstring. And we want to keep the back of the knee a little bit soft. So we're not hyperextending the leg. There's a gentleness in the back of the knee. We're going to breathe in and come into a pose we call revolved triangle pose. So this forward leg stays extended. Inhale, rise, look to your hand, and open your chest wide. Let's take a deeper breath in. If it's not comfortable to gaze to the hand, just simply gaze forward and bring the hand right back to the chair. We're going to walk the foot back, take a nice long stretch to the spine, and reverse. Bring your left leg forward. So again, it's helpful if the feet are hip width apart. The hips initially are just squared forward. We're going to breathe in and lengthen back through this hip. Long stretch through the hamstring. Bend the knee. Roll back through the hip. And meanwhile, we can also be pressing that back heel towards the floor, stretching into the calf. Let's bend the knee 1 more time. Or roll back through the hip, keeping the length through the leg. We'll take an inhale, a nice rise through revolved triangle pose. Feel like you're lifting your whole torso and belly wide towards the sky, gazing either just forward or up towards your hand. Take a breath in. Easy exhale brings us right back to the chair. And 1 more time, reach back to that nice length to box pose. So this pose right here could be a really nice stretch to do at your desk or whatever surface you had to rest into to open up through the hamstrings and lengthen your spine. We'll just gently bend the knees, fold forward for a moment, and nice and easy roll up to standing. Okay, wonderful. So let's use the chair if we want to here. I'm going to start here with my chair to the side. And we're going to be in our pose known as mountain pose. So the feet resting roughly under the hips and chest rising to the sky. Good. So take our leg that's away from the chair up, moving through our hip. Just bringing a little movement of the leg side to side. If I wanted to, I could also have the foot touching to the floor. That's okay. And then let's see if we might move our arm opposite direction of the leg. Or perhaps both arms if we feel stable. So here, as we're moving side to side, we're working with agility. The ability to have balance while in motion. Let's take our knee in, bring our leg to our side to tree pose. Foot could be high or low. Preferably it's not on the knee. We don't want to put pressure on the knee itself. And we could even have the tiptoes touch the floor. So any place here other than the knee is perfectly good. Feel that you're going to rest your thigh or your knee a little bit, press it slightly back. Breathe in, lift again through the heart to the sky. Hands could be to the heart. If I felt like I wanted that support, I have the chair there, but I don't lean into it. I don't grip the chair. I just try to have a soft connection if I need to lean a certain direction towards the chair. And then lift up one or both arms to the sky. We'll just take a nice inhale and exhale. It's nice to have our gaze resting kind of right at the horizon forward rather than looking down. We tend to move down if we look down. And we're going to bring our hands down. Let's take a breath in together. Stretch our leg out and our foot to the floor. Good. So we can just move to the other side or move the chair, whatever works for you. And again, we're going to take this first, this position of mountain pose, solid foundation, and then we lift our leg up. We're going to move the leg a little bit side to side. Side and side. Chair's kind of in the way actually. Okay, side to side. And again, if we wanted to, the arms may be moving the opposite direction of our leg. Let's take our foot out to our side and find our way again to tree pose. So let's say we have our foot low, that's okay too. Hand to the chair. We're going to bring our hands to the heart or one hand and lift towards the sky. So we could have the hands laced together if we wanted, palms pressing to the sky, lengthening through the side of our body, through the rib cage. So when we find that we have fluctuations, or maybe our foot touches in, or we feel a little wobbly, that's perfectly fine. Remember, we're doing a yoga practice, not a yoga perfect. So it's a continual exploration. Let's take just another breath here together. Another breath out. Bring our hands down. Take our knee in. Let's take a nice inhale. Stretch our leg out and down. Good. Okay, so let's go ahead and bring our chair back to sit, to face forward together. And in our seat, we're going to sit kind of midway in the chair. So there's a little space behind us. Feet under the hips and long, deep breath in with a deep length or a rise through the chest and the top of the head to the sky. We'll do one simple twist here in the chair. And whenever we twist, we of course want to create length through the spine rather than twisting on compression. So find the length through your torso. Inhale, reach the arms skyward. Let's take a breath in. Twist to either side, lead from the pit of the belly, mid-torso and chest, and last, gazing over your back shoulder. So I could have my hands to the seat, to the arm of the chair if I had it, or just to your leg and reaching the other hand back behind you. We'll breathe in, rise right back up. Exhale, unwind. And now again, gazing gently over that back shoulder. Come right back to center. Good. Let's bring our hands to our knees. We don't have to be on our yoga mat to do cat-cow. We just sit tall, round through our back as we exhale, and inhale, lift through our chest. So I do my best when I'm sitting for a long period of time to just occasionally do a few movements of cat-cow, or get up and do box pose and stretch through the back. It doesn't have to be, of course, this whole practice. Find what works for you. We'll come right through, nice long spine. One forward fold. This is our last pose in this sequence. So the feet a little wider than hip width apart, and we're going to hinge at the hip, leaning forward. So as we lean forward, feel free to let the whole weight of your head fold towards the floor, like a waterfall cascading down your back all the way through the neck and out through the crown of the head. Long exhale, simply letting go. We'll take another breath in together. Exhale again, just this sense of release, any tension in the body or in the mind. And then we'll just nice and easily press up onto the legs with the hands, feet back together, and a breath in, find the length of the spine. I hope this practice has served you. I hope you'll be able to maybe take a few poses away from it and use it throughout your day. If you found it helpful, please feel free to share it with your friends and family. And if there's anything specifically you'd like me to focus on, feel free to share that and I'll do my best to do so. All right, to good health, well-being, and peace of mind, take good care of yourselves, and I will look forward to being back with you next week on our yoga mats. Thank you.